here, I introduce Chems. Chems, are you on the line? Yes, you are. And look, Stan asked me in the previous session, talk about some very innovative leading company that is transforming basically digital health. And the second question he was asking me is that are they just starting, or are they really now putting in the market, making it available to doctors and hospitals, some really kind of shaped a solution that has already started to demonstrate its impact. And I think Milo is right into that, right focusing actually on these on this segment, and it's the typical very innovative solution. I mean, you may have seen the title for the presentation today of Milo, basically the next generation clinical trial platform. It's really that. And I will not say more. I just give the word to Chems. We have been working with for quite some time together. I'm quite impressed by what he's able to do. I can tell you we also have our debates, but you will enjoy what he has to show you now. And Chems, I give you the words, and I'll finish just before we finish the time. Then I'll finish with one question to ask you once you have done the presentation. On to you.
Thank you very much, Laurent. Thank you very much, Stan. Is this going to be interactive, the presentations, or I should go until the end to present Milo?
Yeah, maybe Chems, you can go on with your slides, so that it's important people understand what Milo is. I think you have some very striking facts, and then maybe 2-3 minutes before the end, I'll get back and ask you a few questions.
So, do you see the screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, sure. So what we are building, we're building electronic data capture. So based on AI, but I will explain why. So what is first clinical trials? Like, I'm going to simplify the process. It's a scientific process of data collections, of evidence of medicinal product. So we want to prove the performance and safety of that product. So, and the data we collect, so you do the experimentation on patients, and you're going to observe what's going to happen to that patient. And that observations, the data is going to come up after you do the experimentations. It's going to come up through two forms. One form is the audio form, because you're going to ask the patient questions. How do you feel? What is the temperature? What is your feeling about, like, the quality of life, etc., etc. So you have a number of questions the doctor will gonna ask, and that data audio will come out later on in the form of notes in the EMR system that is going to be pushed into the EDC. The second form is textual. So you want to also see beyond the quality of life. You want to see, like, what happens in the biochemical level on the patient health. So you want to do biological lab. You want to also collect some imaging, for example, X-ray, etc. So to confirm at the biochemical level that the medicine, the drugs or medical device is working and is performing as it is intended. Okay, so in this textual data, so it's going to be sous form PDF stored in the EMR, or it's going to be also sous form of paper that the patient comes with this paper to the doctor, and then the doctor needs to curate that data and put it into the EMR system, and then it comes into the coordinator level, like the clinical research, which they're gonna take this data that is stored into the EMR, and then they're gonna push it into the electronic data capture, because I said in the beginning, the clinical trial is a process of data collection. So this data, we have to put it somewhere in the 90s. So we're putting this data into a paper, okay? And then Medidata comes in and say, okay, let's digitalize this process. So we have moved from paper into electronic data capture, but still that manual process of capturing the audio data and textual data and pushing it into the EDC, that still has not been resolved yet. And this is what we are working on. So I'm working on moving from an inert, passive electronic data capture into a new kind of electronic data capture that has the capacity of vision, has listening capacity, has reasoning capacity, and therefore it can able to take actions. Okay, So why we bring in this vision and listening? Again, it's the two capacities that is needed to collect all forms of clinical data in the process of the clinical trials. So now so let me move into this next slide. So what does actually Milo do? So with this capacity we bring in here, so it's going to do three things. It will has the capacity to find the patient and find the patient immediately, like while he's talking to the doctors. And second of all, it analyzes the doctor-patient interaction through the audio, through what is listening, and it's going to summarize the discussions and then take the clinical data required by the clinical trials and type it into the EDC. And the last thing, it also can fetch into the EMR system and looking for textual clinical data required by the EMR, because remember I said audio and textual, and it only finds the clinical data required by the clinical trial and write that into the EDC. One thing I need to mention that is different to my competitor is this Milo doesn't require to EMR integration. It is agnostic to the EMR. So it works whatever EMR is. It is multi-language. So currently we do French, English, and German. Just require an hour setup. You need to make training to the doctor to be used, but this is like an hour. It's so easy to use. And therefore, this three capability makes the platform really 100% fast scalable. So
and Chems, if I may interrupt, this is fascinating. If I understand well, on one side you do you basically identify automatically the patients that could be relevant for the different clinical trial. So you take away from the healthcare professionals all the burden of the patient identification, while on the other side you still provide a service to doctor and healthcare professional while they do the consultation. So you save them all the administrative burden and so on and so forth. So you provide value and you take out burden. Is it correct?
Exactly. Yeah. You did that into very precise words.
And if I'm taking a bit the shoes of my American friends and so on, who might say, "Oh wow, we have plenty of this system around." I mean, do you have any comparison already between Milo and some of these generative AI tools that we see a bit all over the place?
Yeah, I think you heard a lot about this Copilot that has been pushed all over the world. Nebula, for example, and many European Copilot who also analyze this textual, this audio information and write the notes for the doctor. So it really indeed exists. But for us, that's just one compound of the tech, because it goes beyond just writing a note. So that capacity of understanding the contextual conversations between the patient and doctor, allowing Milo to analyze the patients that he's talking right now with the doctor to see if to which clinical trials this patient should be eligible. And then, from the audio, from the discussions, Milo will not be able to identify all the eligible and exclusion criteria. And therefore, this is why Milo need to read over the EMR as well, because all the data and all the information are sitting there. So it's both capacity of analyzing the interaction of doctor and patient, but also the capacity of reading the textual information sitting within the EMR allows Milo to be effective at 85%. I have also data to show in which precisions Milo has been tested and proven to be the sensitive capacity, the precision rate of Milo. So this has been tested also. I'm having here.
Yeah, maybe on this one, Chems, it's interesting. Yes, I can see you're moving to the slide there, and I'm sure the audience want to see this comparison. I mean, I've already seen it, but it's a bit mind-blowing, actually, on the differentiation of Milo versus the current AI models.
The other models that analyze the patient, are you focusing here on patient identifications?
Yeah, no, in a way, I'm asking, and I know you have some data on that, on how Milo compared to other system that people may know on your different functions, writing, matching, vision. I think maybe if you
No.
have some data, it's worth sharing.
So this is the first of its kind, but I think some other platform with this capacity will see the light very very soon. But this is the first in its kind from my knowledge so far. So we don't have really electronic data capture that exist that have this capacity at this stage.
Yes, and are you okay to share? I know you have a slide that shows the comparison with like ChatGPT
Yes.
and Cloud 3. I mean, this one is a bit mind blowing actually.
Yeah. So we made a test of Milo versus the large models that exist currently, ChatGPT, Claude, Llama, etc. So we did it on the capacity to find the patient immediately while he's talking to the doctor, and this is the precision rate of Milo, so 85%. So it could get much better with the time. And this is ChatGPT, this is Claude, and this is Llama models. So they're almost so 50% yes and 50% wrong. And then the capacity of Milo to transcribe and write the notes on behalf of the doctor, the precision is at 95%. So we only made 5% error. And the Milo vision capacity, so to read the textual information as we read in the pixels, so this is still under evaluations.
And it's maybe Chems. I'm also here managing the time a little bit, but I have two important questions because I know it's obviously important when you think about developing Milo and so on. Here you showed us what it does. You showed us how it is, how superior it is versus some existing systems. So it's very promising. What about the cost impact for an hospital in terms of using Milo versus using human? And
Yeah.
then the question I will ask you right after is, what are the milestones for you in 25? But maybe let's talk about the cost first.
Yeah, this is really mind-blowing ROI. So I asked all investigators because I have a clinical trial CRO. So my daily work is to find the hospitals and contract with them to run clinical trials. So I asked every investigator to tell them what is the minimum time it takes you to capture the informations, like from the audio, from the text, and push it into the EDC. They said, oh, minimum is 30 minutes. So if it is 30 minutes, if you want to process 1,000 of patients, so the human being need to spend 20.8 days full time, and you have to pay for it. And with an error that ranges from 2% to 22%, because it depends on the site's experience and the trial also complexity. So Milo, it takes 0.5 seconds to process one patient. So if you want to process 1,000 of patients, that's 8.3 minutes. And this has been validated in a clinical trial setting. So this information is not coming in my mind. So it is tested in a real life in clinical trials in Germany and France. We call this evidence one. And if in terms of costing, so if you sum up all the manual data process that a human do, and also the error that the consequence of the error of that. So in average, it can be high, it can be small, depends also on the complexity of the trial. So we have 5,000 euro per patient. So we hope that Milo will drop down the trial cost to 500 euros per patient. So this is the testing on real life that demonstrates what I am saying. So this is evidence one trial has been already finished in Montpellier in 100 of patients, but also there's also another trial has been finished also in Germany with Professor Axel Scholz, also for 100 of patients that demonstrate what I'm saying. And currently we launched multiple European trials. We call evidence 2. So this is in France, and evidence 3. This is in the UK. So in total, we're going to have 1,000 of patients for 12 months for multi-European country to prove that the Milo really process reduce the time, reduce the cost, as we are claiming here.
Look, Chems, it's fascinating, and of course, then time is passing a little bit, so I have to ask you a bit of a concluding question. And of course, anyone here listening, don't hesitate to get in touch with Chems to share ideas or talk with him. But my last question, Chems, is what are the key milestones coming ahead for you in 25? The things you want to demonstrate that are critical for the company.
Yeah. So here it comes. What is Milo? Milo, it is so my vision from the beginning was to create a medical interface liaison officer. So it's like I think you heard that everyone, like this bigger program, they are working on general AGI, okay, that general super intelligence. So it requires very large models, very large training set, etc. We are focusing on create an AGI, but it's not general, but specific for the clinical trial. So you can imagine that this platform that will able by its capacity to analyze, for example, the adverse events, to know if this adverse event is associated to the medical device, yes or no. It can report on itself the adverse event to the competent authority. It can analyze by itself based on the queries, etc., which sites will require to have physical monitoring. It will, by its own, analyze if this patient has likely to be dropped out from the clinical trial or not. So that therefore it will provide recommendation to the doctor whether, if he finds this patient, whether he need to get him on board or not. So we look into super intelligent platform to work autonomously, like the human being, so we're trying to get this between 2026, 2027 at maximum.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chems. Thanks a lot for that. And again, I say it's really fascinating because I know you've been from HITLAB and developing these in an accelerated way. So I assume if it continues like that, I mean, where we're going to be at the end of 25 and 26 is going to be quite amazing. It's a lot of work. I mean, we always smile here as a conclusion where you are, but really fascinating. So I encourage people here listening to get in touch with you. Any ideas you have, or if you want to test it in the hospital, or any investor, if you want to invest in Milo, please do reach out to me, to reach out to Chems or Stan. We'd be happy to put you in contact with the company.